SOHAMS, synergy of hand, mind and soul. In my previous videos, I shared with you my 11 soulmates. My 11 soulmates, which gives me a great head start of the day. Because this 4-minute reflective practice brings a very good sync between my 3 most basic elements what complete me. And that's my hand or body, my mind and my soul. Well, in previous videos, I also shared a little bit of perspective on my 2 soulmates. The first one anchored with my heart, and that says, I always love God and goodness. And God to me is why goodness. Goodness to myself, how good am I to my physical self and my attitude? What am I doing about it? And then, how good I am with people, my family, my colleagues, my friends. And then the goodness for the environment where I operate in, my organization, my family, and society at large. And then I move on to my second soulmate, and the second soulmate is anchored with the top of my head. And there I say, I'm always, always, always happy and blissful. Friends, we can either be happy or unhappy. We cannot be happy and unhappy at the same time. Try it out. And it's a lot smarter to be happy than unhappy, because happiness is the biggest catalyst for oneself's growth, for the environment, for creativity, innovation, creating a good spirit of development, growth, happiness. So it's a lot smarter to be happy than unhappy. And the third soulmate, which I'm going to talk to today, and the third soulmate is anchored with the back of my head, like this. And the way I say this is, So while I'm saying so, internally I'm telling myself is, I'm always the student of life. I'm always the student of life. And then when I come to the second phase of SOHAMS, part, there I let my mind wander, relax, and in a very intense environment where every cell of my body is living with the thought that I am the best student of life. And in that wandering, I often get reflections in those 8 to 10 seconds that, am I really a student of life? Am I learning from life? Or is my mind shut? Are the windows and doors of my mind open, or they are shut, or they are partially open? Now friends, think about it. How many times do we ask this question to ourselves? That how am I absorbing this biggest Ivy League which is there around us every single moment, our life? We can learn from a small child to a great man of wisdom. We can learn the innocence from the child and the wisdom from the great people. While on the thought of learning, I like to share a little bit of perspective on that. You know, as you would have experienced it yourself, the learning cycle includes, we need to acquire knowledge. Of course, we acquire knowledge from our parents when we are small. We go to school, we go to college, we go to unis, we acquire the masters and the PhDs. So this is knowledge which is acquired. But often we also know that knowledge alone is not enough. We need to have people with wisdom. And the wisdom comes not by reading books, the wisdom comes by applying that knowledge. So once we have the knowledge acquired, which can happen very quickly, which we acquire from others. And then when we apply it, that creates wisdom, because once we get into action, that action also helps us in reflecting. And while doing it, what we learn, and after doing it, reflecting on that. Mind it, here I'm underlining reflecting on that in the team or by ourselves, or discussions, that brings in wisdom, and then we improve on the knowledge what we get. And then there's a third kind of school of thought, which is beyond acquiring knowledge, beyond conventional wisdom. And the third kind of wisdom, I can't find an exact word in the English dictionary, but in Sanskrit it is called pragya. And pragya is inside out. We learn from within. And that's what happens when we meditate. That's what happens when we reflect from within in a very, very deep manner. And this pragya, I can only give an analogy with flowering. When a small seed, which is in sync, for example, of the knowledge of manure and earth and air and water and sun, it starts growing. It starts growing the branches and the leaves and the bud and then flower. But this happens from inside. It assimilates the stuff around it, that seed, and then starts growing from inside. So pragya is growth from inside out. In this few minutes, I cannot go much deeper into the subject of pragya, but it's very closely linked with meditation. And if you're interested, read more about it, acquire that knowledge, practice it, reflect upon it. And so, moving on from here, these 8 to 10 seconds are so precious for me to gauge and to ask this question that, am I really open to learn? Often I get answers which are good, and often I get answers which are not so good. I find my windows and doors shut. And then, the answer to these irritants, which come in this 6 to 8 second, the answer to these irritants or the red flags lie in my another 10 soulmates. Often I find that the biggest drawback of not learning comes from ego. And ego is one of my soulmates. How to handle ego. Another very, very important red flag comes through a soulmate which is hurt, which again is a very big enemy of learning. So I would say that these 8 to 10 seconds give me a chance to ask me every single day, that are you learning from life? How often do we ask this question in general life? We forget to ask this. But the 4-minute reflective process has a slot to ask that question, that are you really a student of life? Are you utilizing the biggest and the best Ivy League which is available to all of us? Friends, these are few comments, little perspective of being the student of life. Life is so giving. We need to just absorb it. And with this, I move on to the third phase of SOHAMS, and that is and part is extremely important. Why extremely important? Because that is reminding me of synergy. And synergy, again I would say, again and again, is that which makes the whole much, much greater than sum of the parts. So friends, I'll come back again to you next week with my 4th soulmate. And the 4th soulmate, again, like all 11, is so giving. And the name of the soulmate itself is giving. And the fourth soulmate is I'm always giving, giving, and giving. This is the best elixir to enhance the proper self-image. And I'm underlining proper self-image. So see you again next week. SOHAMS, synergy of hand, mind, and soul. Bye for now.